Hey, this is Steve Domenico from the Room Podcast here with Joakim Hagg out of Sweden, fighting Muay Thai Grand Prix 31, November 24th for the World Championship. Joakim, how you doing, man? How's everything going?
I'm good, thanks, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show. I'm great.
You got a big fight coming ahead of you in about 3.5 weeks or so. I want to talk about that a lot, but before we talk about
Yeah.
that, I want to talk about a little bit about your background and pick your brain about this journey, how you got to this spot. First question: how did you get involved in martial arts? What's your roots from?
I'm actually a hockey player from the beginning. So when I was probably 18, I think, I realized I'm not going to be an NHL player, but I still played, and I did it for fun, and then I wanted to try martial arts to get more flexible and just that, and then I just got stuck. I got hooked. I loved it, loved the training, loved the competition of it, and yeah. So then I started doing MMA at the time, and then later on I transitioned to Muay Thai.
Excellent. Did you transition to Muay Thai because you really like the stand up aspect of martial arts, or was that what was the reason why you left MMA and took the Muay Thai route?
It's just a coincidence, actually. I was competing in MMA, and I did all right, and started to do a private classes in Muay Thai just to improve my stand-up game. And then I figured I'd try some amateur fights in Muay Thai just to improve the stand-up part of the MMA game. And after fighting Muay Thai, I just fell in love with the sport, and then I just kept doing it. So then there was no more time for MMA. I zoomed out.
Now, as far as MMA, you got to be well rounded to do that. I mean, there's some aspects of the game you're going to be stronger at different parts of it.
Yeah.
As far as now, Muay Thai being your go to and what you're doing now full time. Did
Yeah.
the past MMA experience help you along in your Muay Thai career now?
I think so, yeah. Because in the clinch game, I haven't always been technical Muay Thai wise, but I've always been pretty strong, and I've always been able to clinch guys who are better than me, and because I don't really get tired in the clinch. I think that's because of all the grappling I've done before, and all the wrestling and all that. So it's definitely helped me out, yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Well, what I see here in the States, like Muay Thai is really picking up here. There's so much going on here. A lot of what we see here is MMA fighters crossing over, going back and forth, getting work, fighting in Muay Thai rings just to get that stand-up game, get it crisp. Then they jump back into MMA. I see a lot of that. Does that happen also in Sweden and overseas, all these other countries? Do you see that also there, or do they mainly stay in that one lane Muay Thai? We stay here and we don't bounce back and forth.
I think it's more MMA guys that bouncing back and forth, but it's been more like in Sweden. There's been more MMA guys trying boxing and going back to MMA, and stuff like that. Not so many gone to Muay Thai, and maybe as amateurs, but not on a pro level, not yet. We'll see. Like,
Well,
people are crossing back and forward.
well, as far as being from in Sweden, is Muay Thai, I would imagine, is more prevalent there, more of a mainstream sport there than MMA. Is there more fights available, more promotions, more places to fight as far as the Muay Thai world, rather than MMA?
I think it's kind of the same, actually. I think the professional scene is more available in Muay Thai because it's more like you fight more regularly fighting Muay Thai. Most people do, at least. So there's not so many fights to get in MMA if you're a pro in a year. So I think you can stay more active
Yeah.
in Sweden as a professional Muay Thai fighter. Uh, but it's a good Sweden is far on the amateur side, so there's many events for uh, amateur MMA fighters as well. for amateur Muay Thai fighters, you can fight every week if you want to.
Yeah,
It's
excellent. You see a lot of that, like especially with the records. You have over almost close to 40 fights. When you see the
yeah,
Muay Thai world, like you said, you could fight every couple of weeks, and you see some fighters with over 100, over 200 fights there,
yeah,
staying active and just getting in the work there all over the world actually. As
yeah.
far as you, where are you getting your work to get ready for this huge fight coming up?
I'm staying at in my local gym with my trainers. The place where I always am is Gothenburg Muay Thai here in Gothenburg, Sweden. And yeah, my trainers Joaris Berg and Yasir Morabet. Those are the guys who's always helping me. And I've got a good group of sparring people, guys that I spar with from some different gyms, but most of them are transferring into our gym now anyway. So I have a solid team that I can spar with in my size or bigger than me. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's big to have. Your size are bigger. I mean, I see a lot of, some camps you don't get the fighters have to go to other camps and to get that work with someone their size and stuff. Because sometimes, you could be the bigger guy in the gym and that work against the smaller guys ain't really going to do it for you at this level when you're taking on world champions in huge fights,
exactly. Exactly.
So
so I'm thankful for that. It's great to have everyone on the same gym now.
So leading up to this fight, Joakim, you fought in some major stages for some major fights. You fought Muay Thai world champion Region the Immortal Ursel. That dude, taking out people everywhere. You fought for Lion Fight with him in LA. You fought for Lion Fight 59, I do believe, which was your last fight, coming away with a victory leading into this fight. Is this Muay Thai Grand Prix, is this going to be the biggest stage you fought on? And of course, it's going to be the biggest fight of your career, fighting for the title. But is this the biggest stage, the biggest Muay Thai organization you've fought for so far?
I think this one is going to be bigger than Lion Fight. I'm not sure, but it was huge fighting in LA Coliseum for Lion Fight as well, and that was also for the title. And again against the region who's one of the best in the world at the moment, like tearing people apart in one championship. So he's a beast. So I'm not sure if it's going to be my biggest fight, but definitely one of them. And I feel like every fight right now feels like the biggest fight. Like I try to see it as another fight. It's then I can reflect on it afterwards, saying like, yeah, this was huge, but it's definitely a huge opportunity. But I try to stay relaxed leading to it.
Excellent. Well, as far as this opportunity, how did we get this opportunity? You're fighting Mikael Benatar, the reigning world champion there. How did you get this opportunity? Because I mean, you have to earn it, and you have to go through the steps to get your name there and to be picked to actually, go against, their champion.
Yeah, I think that I've fought very tough guys. I fought Region, and shortly after that, I fought Juan Cervantes, who's ranked #1 in the world, 2 weight classes above me, and I fought him on short notice, and it was a close fight that too. So I think that I've been taking on tough names, and definitely mostly I think that Al Rodriguez of Iron Shin Promotions is great at what he does. He's managing me, so he's done a great job getting me this fight, and I'm very thankful for that.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about this fight. Watching this, there's not much, as far as me being here, I'm a big MMA guy. I dip in a lot of Muay Thai here, but there's a lot of footage available because I cover a lot of Lion Fight, Glory, kickbox and stuff like that. And there's a lot of Muay Thai fighters that cross over there too. So there is video and stuff there. So I got to be able to, see some of your footage, some of your, past events, some training footage here, and also the champion there. You both guys come forward. You're both, great in the clinch. He's very tall, very strong. How do you see this fight, and how do you match up? How do you see your skills matching up with his?
I think that I've watched some of his fight. I haven't watched too much because I think it's hard to. I'll leave that to my coaches because it's hard to see how like some people look better than they are and some people look worse than they are. So it's better not to know. I expect him to be in great shape and like great. So, but I think like what I've seen, I think our style matches up pretty good. Like he likes to walk forward. I like to walk forward. We both seem to like to clinch. He looks strong. I think. I don't know. I expect this to be a war. Whoever is the stronger guy in the clinch will make the other one go backwards, and I think that's the guy who will win.
Excellent.
And like, yeah.
Now, like you said, from fight to fight, you're completely different fighters. I mean, and it could be 2 weeks, like you said. Muay Thai fighters can fight every couple of weeks, but you learn something from that previous fight that you didn't know. As far as your last fight, what have you learned since that one? Coming off a win, what have you learned since that fight that's going to bring you into here and give you that positivity to come out with a big, big win?
Yeah, my last fight was a 3-round fight, and I struggled in the past to start from round one because I always like got used to having 5 rounds to work and kind of was a slow starter, giving away round one, round two, starting working hard in round three. When I fought now last time was a 3-round fight, and I really worked hard to get started from the first bell, and I'll take that with me. I'll start working from round one this time as well, and I think that body wise, my last fight, my last opponent was pretty similar. It was also tall, very strong, and so I think that's pretty similar. We'll see. You learn something every time, like you say, but it's hard to plan too much. Like I know I'll try to clinch. I want to feel how clinches. So I'll try to clinch. I'll try to make him back up. I use my elbows. I use my knees. And if that doesn't work, I'll have plan B and a plan C also. So it'll be a war.
And you know what? That's why they put this fight together, because they know they're going to get a war here. I would imagine I mean, he's the reigning champion. Is this going to be whose home turf is this going to be? I mean, he's the champion, of course. He's going to be favored. But, you're fighting in a totally different country. How's the fan base going to be, and how's the support going to be for you going into Paris?
He's French, so it's definitely his home country. So he'll be the home favorite for sure, and that's a disadvantage, of course, because referees are humans. Like they're supposed to score what does the most damage, and like the crowd screams if he like touches me, and there's silence if I almost knock him out. There's still only silence. So
exactly.
So like referees are humans too. So I need to do even more to convince them. I expect that. So that's I'm prepared for that as well.
Awesome. I'm happy for. I mean, it's a great experience. It's a great opportunity for you, and I mean, you got to go in there, guns and blazing, and shut everything out and silence that crowd. You know what I mean? So, my man, last thing. I mean, we're 3.5 weeks or so away. What's left to do? I mean, what's left to do in training camp, and when do you actually head to Paris and get acclimated there?
It's less than 3 weeks actually. It was 3 weeks yesterday, so it's less than 3 weeks. But there's a little bit left to do. Like this is the last week of really really tough training, and then I start slowing down a little bit. At least on the really heavy parts. But I'll keep training till the last week. Last week I just fixed the weight. I don't cut much weight, so that's not a problem. And Paris is only a 2-hour flight, so we'll fly in a few hours before the weigh-ins. So just fly in, land on the hotel, go to the weigh-ins, and that's it.
Definitely
So,
better. Definitely better than flying to LA to fight. In Los Angeles,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's good though, because then
Yeah.
you get to fly in like a week early, and
Yeah.
so
Hey,
that's nice. That's
hey.
nice also.
Last question about that. What's the difference between fighting? I mean, you fought in LA. I'm sure you had a great experience. What's the difference between the USA crowd and the overseas crowd?
Mm, I didn't notice too much, to be honest, because we were two Europeans fighting in LA, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think the crowd got too excited.
Yeah.
But I haven't noticed a big difference, to be honest.
Well, you know what? That's probably because Muay Thai is becoming so prevalent as a mainstream martial art in the USA now.
Yeah,
People don't think about it as like kill him now. It's an art that you watch, and it's a huge tradition that's catching on all over the world. And I mean, there's so much back history on it that people don't know, but once they do, that's when they become silent and actually really watch the fight, and
yeah,
then roar when them special, big moments happen in there. So last
yeah.
thing, Joakim, last thing you want to say, shout outs and, maybe a prediction or what you're expecting in this fight.
I expect it to be a war. Like we've known, both me and my opponent have known about this fight for like 4 or 5 weeks now, so I know we're both going to be prepared. I expect him to be as good as he can be, and I'll be as good as I can be. So I expect it to be a war. I think that whoever has the better night will win. I think it's a close matchup, so I'm not going to predict things. I'll go for the knockout, and I'm sure he'll go for knockout also. So whoever whoever's got a better night will win. It's a boring prediction, but that's the one I'm going to give you, to be honest.
That's all right, man.
And definitely shout out to Al, manager, Iron Shin Promotions, all my sponsors. It's mostly local companies, but Ecoliving.se and Australian Big. I do this cryotherapy here. It helps me like with rehabs and all that, and keep me energized. It's also equipment from Top Rank. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Top Rank equipment. That's I know definitely my trainers. Juharis by Yasin Murabet, Gothenburg Muay Thai. All my training partners. That's, if I
Awesome.
forgot someone, my wife, my family, I love them. Couldn't do this without them. So.
Awesome. Excellent, my man. Well, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you coming on here, giving me insight about this fight and your past. One last question about: is this fight going to be aired? Is there going to be any stream? Is there any way we can actually watch it live? That is when it's happening.
I think so. I'm not sure though, but I think they'll show it.
Yeah, I think
I think the
sometimes.
best. I think they probably come out with information on the Muay Thai
Yeah,
Grand Prix Facebook page or
yeah,
homepage or
exactly.
whatever. But they normally stream their events, so
Awesome.
they
I'll
should.
I'll
They
put
should.
all that information in this interview. So I have their Facebook page and all that. So I'll put whatever stream, any information they have with here, so we can all check you out and hopefully see you have that belt wrapped around you, man. After
Oh
all this
yeah,
hard
that'd be
work, bro.
dream.
Yeah, so it'd be really
Thank you.
cool, and we'll definitely have a chat afterwards. You know what I mean? And we can talk about the experience there and how you did and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'd love to. And thanks for having me on the
Oh,
show. It's great. It's great.
excellent, my man. Well, there you go.
Thank you.
Joakim Hagg, fighting out of Sweden, taking on the reigning world champion, Mikael Benatar, fighting at Muay Thai Grand Prix 31 in Paris on November 24th. Check it out. And if you can't check it out, I'll let you know everything that's happening. So thanks again, Joakim. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.